Brodes Media.
They escaped Foxborough. 25-20. They win. Oh, what was that? They won? Okay, I just want to make sure that that's clear from the start because I'll spend a lot of time questioning who Brian Johnson is. And if he's going to be a conservative play caller all year long, I won't be able to handle it. But who is Brian Johnson? And there's a lot for this team to clean up. Hey, Jalen, you cannot miss the best tight end you have on your football team in Dallas Goedert when he's wide open multiple times downfield. You cannot fumble the football on first down when you elect to take it, and he should be allowed to take it. I got no problem with their quarterback keeping the ball in his hands with the game on the line to try and keep drives rolling and eating off clock. I love the idea of your best runner because he is one of your best runners on the team having the ball in his hands, but you cannot turn the ball over there and then beg your defense to bail you out. So trust me, my brain is scrambled eggs right now. There is so much to chew on, and I broke it down from an offensive side and from a defensive side and even special teams. I didn't like a lot. And they still won the game 25-20. This reminds me of what happened last season. They went to Detroit, and there was this big spurt of, holy hell, this is amazing. And then the Lions, Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, Swift of all people who barely got utilized today. They barely looked at his direction at all. It was the Kenneth Gainwell show on top of Jalen Hurts with the legs. But ultimately, we didn't like the way it looked, and we didn't like the way it feels. Here's my point. Guess what? In 3 months, this game, the way it looked stylistically, it's irrelevant. The Eagles went to the Super Bowl last year, and we despised what happened in Detroit. You have to escape and win ugly ones. Good teams do it. Now, you can't consistently compete like this, but I'd be lying to you if I said I feel this is who they are. We already have Nick Sirianni postgame questioning if he's going to put some of these guys in preseason action so they don't look as rusty, which I think would be a mistake because I don't think the gamble is worth it. And quite frankly, if they played 8 snaps, 10 snaps, 12 snaps in the preseason, I bet you they still look this exact same way because there's no way that you can redo or make what a real game feels like happen in a preseason game. You just can't it's not redo, but you can't make that happen in a preseason game. It's not the same level of intensity, and there's nothing that makes it that level of intensity except for it finally being week 1 where the games matter. I thought at times the offensive line wasn't sharp. I thought at times the defensive line wasn't getting enough pressure, although how do you neutralize a pass rush? You try and get the ball out quick, which I thought Mac Jones and their coaching staff, Bill O'Brien, tried to do, get the ball in playmakers' hands. And we got lucky at times, whether they couldn't keep both feet in bounds or they dropped passes. At the same time, though, Hunter Henry makes a catch that you don't ever supposed to make. One hand, it's a poorly thrown ball by Mac Jones. He extends his arm and pulls it in. Ridiculous. So for everything that should have happened and didn't happen, there's things that does happen that shouldn't happen, and the game evens itself out at that point. Good for Jake Elliott and the special teams unit. A couple nice tackles, too. Sidney Brown with one, that's no surprise. And even Josh Jobe with one, too. But Siposs bobbled the ball, which gave a flag, and then you had to repunt it again. That's always going to rip your hair out. Regardless, though, once again, this team won the football game. And I think when we're 3 months down the road, we lose sight of how it looked. The Kansas City Chiefs are a damn good football team. They're not going anywhere, and they're going to get some guys back and healthy. They'll be all right. You could have been that, though, which is 0-1 heading into a short week on Thursday. There's not a lot of time to sit in this, and I don't even want them to. I want it to be a quick turn of the page and get right back at it because you could probably go too far down the spiral, if we're being honest. I like it being quick, short, to the point and let's re-rack it because we're not satisfied. And I don't expect this team to perform like this on a night-to-night basis. So it's more of when you do have an off day, when you do struggle, when maybe you play down to your opponent, because the Patriots are not very good. What did I tell you? They don't have the talent to beat the upper echelon teams. This was a very winnable game for them. They're at home. Even after the pick six, Darius Slay, awesome. Jordan Davis forces a fumble, and then you recover on that. Now the boys are up big. Okay, so the Patriots made a couple nice drives. They went 10 for 10 for a while there. Mac Jones did after his initial start to the game. So they put some sustained drives together. They're not a smart team, though. How do you not get both feet in bounds? That's wide receiver 101. While A.J. Brown is getting screwed by the technicality of instant replay, the one time they do elect to take a true shot downfield, the ball was bobbled on super slow-mo when Bill Belichick didn't even get his challenge flag out in time, and they got lucky as hell there. So you could go back and forth on that all you want, the plays that could have been called. That's never going to end when dissecting film and dissecting games. I like the fact that it was greasy, it was ugly. I don't prefer it being that way. I'm telling you that there was a mental toughness to scratch and get some field goals when needed. I am nervous, though, on how Brian Johnson did this. He coached scared, a lot of really scared decision-making. I should never see a 3rd and 10 screen to Devontae Smith. I should never see a 3rd and 9 run so then they could just punt the football. It was very, very safe. No, we're going to kick them when they're down. No aggressiveness. It didn't play with any ferociousness. Like, it seemed we're just going to punt and play the field game. And I know we're up, so let's try and kill some clock and see if our defense can hold and see if we can get a good field position from there. Stop it. Let's go. You got one of the best quarterbacks in the game. 4th and 2. You go for it there, but you don't in other times. I thought that was the time, and I said it live. This was not just stated afterwards. You have to take my word for it. I watched at my buddy's place. It was 4 or 5 of us. Got some nice hoagies. I was ripping through them. Buffalo chicken dip. It was a great time. And I said, I don't know about this. I find it ironic. The one time that they're being aggressive, I think it's the time to nod. And you dare Mac Jones to beat you because he's not very good. And they squeaked away with it. But I like the idea of asking Mac Jones to go all the way downfield and murder you, because it really won't. Luckily, this team finally started to show up with some of their interior guys, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis. I think they sent Ellis there, which was nice, and forced Mac Jones to step up into the pocket, and then they were able to do their job from there. So they stepped up defensively. And right before half, this might be the most egregious of them all. A couple timeouts left, a decent amount of time on the clock. You're punting, essentially. Not actually, but you're punting going into half, and you're putting your hands up. We'll take this, and we'll regroup. Dude, what if you can go get a field goal? You can't trust your offense to do that. You got one of the best kickers and the most reliable kickers, who was A+. Come on, man. That's gross. That's ugly football. That's scary to me. It is. I would never in a billion years think that this would be my tone heading into that game at all. At all. Or, I'm sorry, at the end of that game, I wouldn't expect this would be. At the end of the game, if you told me heading into the game that I'd be saying this about Brian Johnson afterwards, I'd say, you've lost your marbles.